Before we dive in, a serious heads up, viewer discretion is strongly advised. What you're about to hear isn't rumor or internet gossip. This is real federal courtroom testimony, word for word, straight from the trial of Sean Diddy Combs as covered by Inner City Press. And it features none other than comedian Katt Williams stepping into a very different spotlight. When Katt Williams entered that courtroom, it wasn't with punchlines, it was with purpose. The man known for wild stand-up sets and headline-grabbing interviews suddenly took center stage in a legal drama with massive industry implications. Gone was the showman. What appeared was a man with stories the entertainment world never wanted aired. For years, Katt had been dismissed as erratic, someone who called out big names like Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, TD Jakes, and Ricky Smiley, with claims that many brushed off as rants. But now, those same names are surfacing in federal documents connected to Diddy's investigation. And this time, there's no laughing it off. On the stand, Katt didn't just speak, he confirmed it all. The secret parties, the NDAs, the hidden surveillance, the calculated rise of certain careers inside a powerful protected circle. And this wasn't just about Diddy. Katt laid out a map of celebrity complicity, an entire network of stars allegedly entangled in the same power machine. This wasn't a Netflix special or a backstage rant. This was a reckoning. Katt brought the receipts, and this time, the world had no choice but to look. He wasn't naming names for clout, he was pulling the curtain back on the machine that props them up. The impact is devastating. Industry insiders say the people Katt exposed might never recover, not in reputation, not in influence. Some may be scrambling behind the scenes, but the damage was already done. When he first stepped into court, the mood was confusion and disbelief. Reporters were murmuring, social media ignited like wildfire. Nobody expected this from Katt, but there he was. No flashy entrances, no jokes, no entourage, just a man in a crisp suit, a folder full of documents, and a look that said it was time to stop playing. Katt Williams didn't show up to perform, he showed up to testify. The moment Katt Williams took the witness stand and raised his hand to be sworn in, the energy in the courtroom shifted. Total silence. No laughter, no murmurs, just anticipation. And then in that unmistakable voice, the same one that once had comedy clubs in stitches, he delivered a statement that hit like a gut punch. Let me say this one time under oath and without any punchline. I warned y'all years ago, and you laughed. From that point on, it was clear this wasn't just testimony, it was a reckoning. Katt told the court that nothing he was about to reveal was new to him. He'd been trying to sound the alarm for over a decade, but because the truth came wrapped in comedy, people brushed it off. They laughed when they should have been listening. When you make people laugh, they forget to listen, he said. But I wasn't just telling jokes. I was slipping facts between the punchlines. Then he walked the courtroom through a pattern he'd been observing for years. How the same group of celebrities kept getting invited to certain exclusive behind-the-scenes gatherings. After those mysterious events, those celebrities would suddenly shoot to stardom. New roles, record deals, endorsement contracts, and film awards. You'd see a brother at the bottom of the A-list one year, then boom, 3 months after a certain party, he's starring in blockbusters. That's when Katt dropped a name that sent a ripple through the room. You want to know the common thread? They all spent time in the same circle, Sean Diddy Combs. The court leaned in. Reporters stopped taking notes for a second just to process what they were hearing. Katt continued, painting Diddy not just as a successful music executive, but as a powerful gatekeeper to a darker side of the entertainment industry. It ain't about music anymore, he said. It's about control. Who you know, what you're willing to do, and what you'll keep quiet about. Then came the most chilling moment of all. His reason for finally speaking up after all these years of warnings. I'm not here because I want to be. I'm here because if I don't talk now, I'll be next. With that, the courtroom knew they weren't dealing with a routine celebrity appearance. This was a bombshell unfolding in real time. Katt Williams wasn't just testifying, he was sounding an alarm. And as the storm started to build, it was clear that the industry figures tied to this narrative were about to face a tidal wave. Katt Williams didn't hesitate when it came time to name names. No nervous pauses, no dodging the question, just a calm, direct response. Y'all want names? He asked. Cool, I got names. And then he delivered. Not gossip, not speculation. Names one after another. Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, Kevin Hart, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, Ludacris, LeBron James, TD Jake, Ashton Kutcher, Justin Bieber. Each name echoed like a bombshell through the courtroom. These weren't fringe figures or washed-up celebrities. These were A-listers, icons, men at the top of the entertainment, sports, and media empires. For years, they've been seen as symbols of success, but now, Katt was placing them all at the same parties, the same exclusive gatherings under the same shadow. According to Katt, these weren't just lavish celebrity parties thrown by Diddy. These were highly orchestrated events designed to control, compromise, and create loyalty. And the glitz, the public saw all smoke and mirrors. These parties, Katt explained, weren't about celebration. They were about initiation. He painted a chilling picture. Phones confiscated at the door, NDAs forced upon guests, and hidden cameras rolling in the background. Katt claimed Did's events weren't just about networking. They were about collecting leverage. The kind of leverage that ensures silence. You think it's a coincidence that all these dudes toe the same line and protect the same people? He asked. Nah, they know. They're being watched, or worse, recorded. According to Katt Williams, the real power in Hollywood isn't just about money or talent, it's about leverage. And no one, he claimed, played that game better than Sean Diddy Combs. Katt alleged that Diddy didn't just hold secrets, he created them. He doesn't just collect blackmail, he manufactures it. Katt told the court, people walk into those parties clean. They leave with something on them they can't scrub off. In other words, those high-profile events weren't just celebrations, they were setups. Katt explained that once you stepped into Did's world, your future was no longer in your own hands. He described how careers seemed to magically take off after attending those parties. Sudden green lights for films, massive comedy tours seemingly out of nowhere, and hit songs that exploded on Diddy-connected radio stations without any real promo. You think talent alone gets you there? Please. Katt scoffed. Half the people I named wouldn't even sell out a high school gym without that machine behind them. From an entertainment expert standpoint, that's a serious claim because it suggests that many of the so-called overnight successes weren't organic at all. They were manufactured by a system built on silence, loyalty, and hidden deals. Katt wrapped up this part of his testimony with a bold statement. I'm not saying everyone at those parties participated in what happened. I'm saying they all knew what was going on and not one of them said a damn thing. That makes them complicit. But it was when the name Tyler Perry came up that the courtroom visibly shifted. There was a murmur, a sense of tension, and Katt noticed. He locked eyes with Diddy, then turned to the jury with laser focus. Let's talk about media, he said. He made it clear this wasn't a takedown based on style or identity. This ain't about gender or performance, Katt explained. This is about symbolism, ritual, power. Then came the bombshell. You think a billion-dollar studio just pops up because someone wears a wig and makes church jokes? Nah, that was a trade. According to Katt, Tyler Perry's meteoric rise wasn't just luck or talent, it was engineered. He claimed that Diddy's network was deeply involved in Perry's early success. From play productions to his first major film releases, screenings of Diary of a Mad Black Woman and Media's Family Reunion were allegedly coordinated by bad boy insiders. Press passes arranged, celebrities strategically placed. That wasn't random, that was planned. Katt said they gave him a path in exchange for loyalty. And then, just when it seemed like the courtroom had heard it all, Katt added one last twist. Tyler told his male actors not to consort with me. He revealed, you know why? Because I saw him at one of those parties having a glorious time. In that moment, it wasn't just about one man's testimony, it was about what Hollywood may be hiding behind the glitz. Katt Williams wasn't just naming names, he was connecting the dots. And from an insider's perspective, this testimony could shake the very foundations of the entertainment industry. From the moment Tyler Perry hit mainstream success, Katt Williams says he noticed a shift. And it wasn't just about money or image. According to Katt, Perry began quietly cutting ties with the very people who might remind the public how his rise actually began. He didn't want the world to know who helped him rise, Katt said, because then people would ask why. Katt pointed to actors who had once shown promise and authenticity, names like Lance Gruss, Lamon Rucker, Timac, and Isaiah John Durant. He claimed these actors underwent noticeable changes after stepping into Perry's world. Their careers, their energy, even their public personas all seemed different. Look at how they were before, he told the courtroom. Now look at what happened after. Then Katt delivered a line that would dominate headlines and social media within hours. Every year a new media, every year a new wig, and every year a new check, but never once, not once, as he used his platform to speak on what really goes on behind those velvet ropes. He let it hang in the air before finishing with, "That's not entertainment, that's obedience." And Katt wasn't done. When Kevin Hart's name came up, he didn't blink. In fact, he leaned in. Let's talk about the golden boy. To the world, Kevin Hart is the ultimate success story. Humble beginnings, relentless hustle, blockbuster hits. But Katt pushed a different narrative that Kevin's rise wasn't just hard work. It was a result of saying yes to the right people at the right time. You think Kevin went from BET Comic View to billion-dollar franchises by accident? You think it's normal to go from canceled sitcoms to headlining stadiums in under 5 years? He paused, locked eyes with the jury, and said, "Nah, that's what happens when you say yes. That's what happens when you take the deal." Then Katt clarified one of his most viral and controversial lines, the one about turning down a $50 million offer to keep his integrity and his virgin whole. It wasn't just a joke, he insisted. It was a coded truth. It was more than a punchline, he said. That was me telling the world that Kevin said yes to something I wouldn't, something real, something that doesn't get talked about in Hollywood unless it's in a whisper. From an entertainment insider's lens, this is more than personal beef. It's an accusation about how the game really works. Katt then drew a straight line between Kevin Hart's explosive success and his connection to producers with deep financial ties to Diddy's business circle. He urged people to check the timeline, movie releases, Netflix specials, endorsement deals, all appearing right after Kevin got close with that network. And behind every contract, a quiet imprint from the bad boy empire. But the real plot twist, Katt claimed Kevin wasn't just another party guest. He played a more strategic role. He was a handler. Katt said he was the smiling face, the distraction. He helped make new recruits feel safe, comfortable. That's why he was always in the room, but never caught in the footage. When Katt Williams turned down the same kind of offer that made others famous, the fallout was swift. He told the Courtroom that deals he had lined up suddenly vanished. Comedy tours were pulled. Studios stopped calling. It was like he'd been erased. Meanwhile, Kevin Hart, once on the same circuit as Katt, started landing major film roles. Ride Along, Night School, Jumanji, one hit after another. Katt made it clear success like that doesn't happen by accident in Hollywood. You don't get 3 franchise hits back to back unless someone upstairs signed off, he said. Then, with the type of bite that only a seasoned insider can deliver, he dropped a line that felt more like a gut punch than a joke. They say Kevin Hart's funny, but that laugh came with a price, and I wasn't willing to pay it. From there, Katt shifted his focus to 2 more names he said were crucial to Diddy's inner circle and the larger system that props up power in Hollywood: Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. Starting with Ricky, Katt didn't hold back. He questioned how a man who made his name off prank calls ended up with movies, a national radio show, and network exposure. It wasn't the jokes, it was the dress, Katt said bluntly, referencing the moments Ricky appeared in drag. According to Katt, Ricky's real breakthrough came after he started showing up at a series of invite-only parties in Atlanta organized by Diddy's Southern Network. These weren't casual get-togethers. Katt said they were curated environments designed to identify who could be useful, who would stay silent, and who would do what was asked. Then came a major reveal. Katt admitted he once inserted a specific clause into a contract stating he wouldn't work with Ricky unless he was wearing a dress. Why? Because that's where he's most believable. I wanted the world to see how they reward submission. Katt claimed that Ricky's first church-based TV role where he wore a wig and dress wasn't a coincidence. It was a condition. You want that bag, you know what to do. And he did it. Then Katt turned his sights on Steve Harvey. To the public, Steve's image is squeaky clean. Part game show host, part motivational speaker. But to Katt, Steve was something else. The godfather of commercial obedience. He claimed Steve didn't just succeed by playing the entertainment game. He stayed on top by staying quiet. He saw what Diddy was doing, and instead of saying anything, he brought his daughter to dinner with the man. So component placement, Katt said, pointing to the much publicized relationship between Lori Harvey and Diddy. The twist. Lori had previously dated Diddy's son, Justin. What father does that? Katt asked, then answered himself. One who's in too deep. Katt went on to accuse Steve of stealing creative ideas, saying the Steve Harvey Show was originally based on a format Katt had developed years earlier. They changed the name, changed the city, and gave it to the guy who said yes. In Katt's view, Steve Harvey's empire was built not just on charisma or business smarts, but on playing the role of a safe, compliant figure for powerful insiders. Steve Harvey made his name hosting shows, writing books, and playing pastor. But he never opened his mouth when it counted. Then he paused before delivering the line that stuck. stuck. That's silence. That's expensive. And just when the room thought it couldn't get any heavier, Katt said the next name out loud. TD Jake Jakes. No joke, no theatrics. He said it like someone who knew exactly what he was doing. Calm, clear, and chilling. It was the kind of moment where even the courtroom seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. Katt Williams laid it all out plainly when he addressed the courtroom. Let me explain how this works. He described a hidden system beneath Hollywood's glamorous surface, one where when scandals start bubbling up and rumors grow too loud, the industry doesn't run away. Instead, it prays, or at least makes it look like they do. Katt accused Diddy's PR machine of using the church not as a place of sanctuary or healing, but as a protective shield to clean up his image. He specifically pointed to TD Jake preaching at gospel concerts sponsored by Diddy, arguing it wasn't about spreading faith or salvation. Nah, that was about sanitizing his image, Katt said. According to him, Jake offered a holy filter, a way to mask the darkest corners of the entertainment world by wrapping it in religion. These weren't ordinary church events. They were exclusive concerts with velvet ropes, gold-plated communion tables, and VIP seating. The kind of glamour that feels more like a show than worship. Katt went further, saying that TD Jake actively discouraged gospel artists from speaking out about the troubling things they witnessed at crossover events tied to bad boy entertainment. They were told to keep quiet, that speaking out would harm the church's outreach, he explained. But what about the people who were hurt or exploited? The silence, Katt suggested, came at a cost. Then came the bombshell that made headlines. TD Jake Jakes didn't just pray over Diddy, he helped clean up after him. Katt described a pattern where huge church donations, million-dollar charity events, and public acts of generosity were all part of the cover story. If a spiritual leader dared to question or dig too deep, they were pushed out. No airtime, no publishing deals, no second chances. Katt even claimed that Jake was aware of a celebrity sex scandal involving one of Did's assistants, but chose to keep it behind closed doors. He told them to handle it internally. That's not what a pastor does, that's what a fixer does. Katt closed this part of his testimony with a powerful statement that cut through the tension in the courtroom. There's nothing wrong with God, but there's a whole lot wrong with the people pretending to speak for him. When you use faith to cover up sin, you ain't no prophet, you're a pimp in a pulpit. Then locking eyes with the jury and the prosecutors, Katt said with calm certainty, "You want to know why nobody says anything? It's because everybody knows they're being watched." For years, whispers have surrounded Diddy's notorious parties. The candles, the gold rooms, the celebrities who enter one way and leave changed forever. But the real secret, Katt revealed, isn't just what happened behind those closed doors. It's how everything was recorded, hidden away like evidence waiting to surface. Katt Williams revealed a shocking layer of surveillance operating behind the scenes at Diddy's private events. He testified that insiders had told him about high-tech cameras hidden everywhere, far beyond normal security measures. These weren't just doorbell cameras, Katt said. We're talking about tiny pinhole lenses disguised in furniture, ceiling tiles that weren't really tiles, and encrypted video backups sent to secret servers that didn't belong to Diddy himself, but to his trusted team. This wasn't about keeping guests safe, it was about collecting dirt and building leverage. According to Katt, if anyone misstepped in those rooms, whether they were famous, rich, straight, gay, or cheating, Diddy had the proof to control them. Once he's got it, you either stay quiet or your career is over. Katt added that several big-name celebrities confided in him over the years, not just about what they saw, but about the recordings they knew existed. One brother told me, "If they ever release what they got on me, I'll never work again. My family would disown me." Though Katt didn't reveal the name, the fear was clear and very real. He referenced Ashton Kutcher's now infamous quote, "What happens at a Diddy party stays at a Diddy party." Then he asked the courtroom, "Why do you think they say that?" "Because they know what happens there and what's being filmed." These secret recordings, Katt explained, connect to why so many stars who once hinted at something darker suddenly went silent, disappearing, switching up their careers, or suddenly rebranding themselves as philanthropists. He made it clear that this wasn't just rumor or speculation. Blackmail was an organized system, and the videos were cataloged, carefully dated, and used as weapons. Katt paused for effect before delivering the cold truth. This isn't just about wild parties or secret sex tapes, it's about control. Diddy built a digital vault, and if you ever got too comfortable at one of those parties, you're probably in it. The courtroom was stunned, but Katt wasn't finished. He shifted focus to the brave few who tried to break the silence and what happened to them. He named Dave Chappelle, who famously walked away from a $50 million deal. People called him crazy, said he ran off to Africa, but if you really watch his specials, he was telling you something important. He said the worst thing to call somebody is crazy. It's dismissive. And that's exactly what they did to him because he refused to play ball. Katt Williams didn't hold back when he talked about Martin Lawrence. Remember when Martin was running in the streets, waving a gun and screaming, "They're trying to kill me," Katt said. That wasn't just a breakdown. That was a man cracking under pressure. Someone trying to warn us about what was really going on. These moments, he explained, weren't random or isolated. They were the result of the heavy burden of trying to escape a powerful machine that controls careers and silence voices. You don't just quit or say no, especially when you've seen the dark side of this business firsthand. Katt also pointed to artists like Jaguar Wright and Al Bura who were labeled unstable or worse after speaking out about tragic events like Kim Porter's death or the secret world behind Diddy's parties. It's the same playbook every time. He said you speak up, they call you a liar, then they say you're crazy, and finally you disappear. Then Katt turned the spotlight on himself. Remember when they said I was on drugs? Said I was losing it. I wasn't high. I was heated because I saw how this system works. I tried to warn people, but instead of listening, they laughed. He shared chilling details about being targeted after speaking out against Diddy, audited, blacklisted, even followed. 3 black SUVs, no plates, parked outside my house for weeks, and nobody wanted to touch the story. That's the reality many stars face. Katt said the fear and the consequences keep them silent. They stay in line, take the deals, and keep smiling, knowing the price of speaking out is too high. Katt delivered a powerful message about how Hollywood really works. Hollywood doesn't destroy you with violence. It destroys you with silence, with labels, with exile. And I know because they tried it with me. Standing tall in the courtroom, he looked at Diddy, then back to the jury. This isn't about parties or scandals. This is about power and who's willing to do whatever it takes to keep it. According to Katt, the entertainment industry has become a factory of silence, where loyalty is bought with money, fear, or secret recordings. Every time a new artist signs a deal or a comedian lands a Netflix special, there's a question to ask. What did they agree to? Who's really behind that green light? He called out the record labels, executives, handlers, and gatekeepers who keep the system running. It's not just Diddy. He's the face, he's the puppet, but there's a whole system behind him, and they're all complicit. Finally, Katt dropped a bombshell. They asked me to sign something too. Offered me a check that would have changed my life. All I had to do was stay quiet about what I saw. I said no. Looking directly at the judge, Katt made one last plea. I'm not suicidal, I don't own a gun, I love my family, and if anything happens to me after this, just know I didn't do it. The courtroom fell silent. This wasn't just testimony. It was a bold stand against a powerful hidden world few dared to expose. The courtroom was frozen in silence. Nobody moved, nobody spoke. All eyes were locked on Katt Williams, who had just dropped one of the boldest testimonies Hollywood has ever seen. His voice softened now, but the weight of his words only grew stronger. I tried to warn y'all through comedy, he said. I wrapped the truth in punchlines because if I said it directly, they would have come for me. But now I've said it plain on record, and the world can't unhear it. He scanned the courtroom, his voice trembling as it cracked through the heavy air.